We're talking about ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah, do you love it?
Oh, of course I do. Who doesn't? I like the texture and the wide range of flavors it has. Plus, it really uplifts my mood. So, for all these reasons, I really love ice cream.
Okay. Did you often eat ice cream when you were younger?
I would die for it. I remember my mother would buy a bulk of ice cream and keep it in the fridge and would give me one scoop every day. However, every night I would sneak out from my room and steal some scoop of ice cream. I was caught and scolded and yelled at many times.
Are there any shops selling ice cream near the place where you live?
There's one ice cream parlor on the stone throw distance from my home that offers a wide range and every brand of ice cream. However, there are some variety stores that sell some local ice creams as well.
Can you make ice cream by yourself?
I'm terrible at things. I'm good at eating. I'm a good eater. But when it comes to prepare something, I don't think I'm the right choice. Though I have tried, but it did not taste like an ice cream, but a boiled milk. So I don't think I can.
Oh, that's the end of part one. Let's talk about a clue now.
Sure, sir.
The topic is describe a book that you have read many times. You should talk about when you read it for the first time. How often do you read the book, and finally what the book is about. You will have 1 minute to prepare.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. For a start regarding a book, I would like to start with a phrase that books are the best friend of the human being. They can guide us to the right path. Over the course of my life, I have read bajillions of books. One among them that I really like reading over and over again, and that is none other than a religious book called Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Still vividly recall that I was only 8 or 9 years old when my brother asked me to read it for the first time, as he's a priest himself. So I would help him every evening in doing his chores at the temple. And I would say, whenever I feel a little low or discouraged, I always head towards this. Because it has so many of life lessons. It has different type of the chapters that help you to restrain your stress, your anxiety, and how to overcome the negative thoughts, right? And I would say nowadays, whenever I'm free, I generally read it. And this book is generally about how to live a life, what should be the karma of a person, and what are the sins, and what are the right things and good deeds human can perform, how to avoid sins. And I think the effect that it has put on me is that it has made me a better person, right? Earlier I used to be anxious about everything, and whenever I had any problem, I would bark out at every place to everybody. But ever since I started reading this book, there are so many examples given in this that really gives me power to overcome my own problem or to face them bravely. So I think it has really did a great job and played a great role in making a better version of my own self.
Well, that's the end of part two. Let's move on to the part three.
Sure.
There are some questions related to this topic, and one of them is this. What do you prefer, reading a book or watching a movie?
Well, it's really hard to make up my mind. Yet, if I have to come up with one option, I would say reading a book is my preference. The reason it really allows me to actually process all the information that we generally avoid in the movie. We live every single, even the posture of the part and the artist or the stars or I would say the role players, which we tend to avoid in the movies. And the only good thing about movies that they show all the story within 2 hours. and many things are actually distorted in that. But in the book, you get to live every single moment, every single word, and the dialogue, which I think can actually enhance the fun of reading a story or getting an information out of it. So,
Okay. What do you think? It is important to read a book before watching the movie version of it.
no, I don't think so. Because if you're reading a book before watching a movie, you are spoiling everything. A book is a detailed information of something, while the movie is only a summary of it. So if you have read a book, you will never like the movie. It happened to me when I read a book called Half Girlfriend. I knew every single detail, right? But when I watched the movie, almost half of the story was distorted. Right? So and you will feel little, you will feel little against of it, reluctant to accept what is in the movie. So it's going to spoil your the fun and joy of watching it.
Okay. Do boys and girls like the same kind of books?
Now, with the advent of 21st century, the gender differences has been disappeared. Honestly, today girls like reading about the technology, management, and so does the boy. So I think, however, there could be some of the book. Like girls generally read books on cookery or the romantic books, while boys prefer reading some thriller or some books with some suspense in it.
Okay. Tell me, what kind of books do Indian people like to read?
You cannot really generalize people and their choices. However, youngsters, I would say, go with the books which is full of thriller, while the youngsters and the children like stories. If you go with the older generation, they read book on the religion, history, or philosophy.
What can children learn from books?
Anything that an adult can learn. Books are a great and infinite source of knowledge. Children would learn whatever they see in the book, especially if they read about the biography, they will learn to never give up. If they read about some fantasy or some superstitious book, or I would say which has nothing to do with the reality, the sci-fi book I must say, so they will learn to imagine things, they will become more creative. So it really depends on the plot of the book, what they're reading.
Okay. Do people prefer to read e-books or printed books in your country?
Although nowadays people are, number of people are growing toward the e-book, I think majority still likes reading the paper book because the satisfaction people feel while reading the paper book is completely unmatched with the e-book. Especially they encounter some problems as well with spending extensive time on screen. So they avoid screen time and read some paper books.
Okay.